We're really excited today to dive into the dynamic world of C2C e-shopping. And here with us today is Hannah Lee, the market research analyst at Geopost, who's going to be sharing her valuable insights on the trends shaping this thriving market. Everybody, please give a warm welcome to Hannah. And over to you, Hannah. Thank you for joining us today. If you'd like to first introduce yourself to our viewers.
Yeah, thank you, Kurt. How are you? So let me introduce myself very quickly. Hannah Lee, market research analyst, as Kurt introduced. So I am in charge of every subject that is around so-called consumer insights. So we have this shopper barometer that I'm gonna definitely talk about to discuss the C2C e-shopping trends.
That's great. Thank you, Hannah. And where is it you're based?
I am in Paris office for Geopost.
Oh, beautiful. Hopefully the weather's better than it is here in that case.
Well, it's raining quite a lot. Well, today less raining, so I cannot complain.
Oh, fingers crossed, the weather improves even more for you in that case.
Yeah.
Let's dive right into the world of C2C shopping. So for all of our viewers who are watching with us today, please feel free to drop us a comment or drop us a DM with any questions you have throughout the interview, and we'll pass those over to Hannah to answer at the end. Hannah, over to you. To start off with, could you explain what C2C e-shopping is?
Yeah, of course. So C2C stands for consumer to consumer, right? So when we think of C2C shopping, it involves individuals engaging in transactions directly with each other. And today, when we use this term C2C, I believe it heavily focuses on the exchange of secondhand goods. So in this shopping process, this creates naturally or requires necessarily a marketplace where individuals can gather and buy and sell their pre-owned items. So for this reason, some people also use another term called re-commerce.
E-commerce, that makes perfect sense, actually. That's a perfect term to use. So why is it that more and more regular e-shoppers are turning towards C2C platforms?
To give you that answer, I should talk about our e-shopper barometer because I can find the answer there. So just to give you a quick introduction about this barometer, it is a biannual market research that we run at Geopost level to really understand e-shoppers' consumer habits, let's call it, their profile, their habits, their preferences, and expectation about online shopping in general. And in their barometer, we ask a few questions on C2C, including the reasons of purchase. And from what our e-shoppers told us, the very first motivator for them to purchase secondhand items is coming from this opportunity of saving money for 65% of them.
Absolutely, yeah. Saving money seems like it's definitely a big draw towards secondhand platforms. On that note, we can see that social media seems to play a really big part in the secondhand shopping trend. How has this contributed towards the rise of C2C platforms?
Yeah, definitely. I personally think there's a common ground that is shared between social media and those C2C platforms. So when we think of secondhand market, individuals actively participate in trying to sell their pre-owned items, right? And this, in a way, I believe, fosters a sense of community that could perfectly fit actually with what social media do or could do. So we've seen the rise of many C2C platforms, for instance, including Vinted or Etsy, among many others. And in that process, social media has led to become a integral part of a C2C ecosystem, I think, by, for instance, providing the individuals with the tools to promote their items and then connect with potential buyers. And all of this sort of led to one increased sense of trust and also one authenticity in transactions, and then by consequence fuel the growth of C2C platforms. And just to give you a very easy and typical example, Facebook. Facebook today is not just a social media, but also an e-commerce powerhouse. So activities in Facebook groups led to the creation of Facebook Marketplace, which is now one of the centers of C2C shopping, isn't it? And as it is part of the integral part of social media, other social media platforms like Instagram or TikTok are also used for C2C shopping and selling. And when we think of the traditional way of shopping, let me call it B2C shopping, it stands completely in contrast to this C2C shopping, because in B2C shopping, the primary interaction, if I may say, lays in between companies and individuals, where it's usually the companies who push their manufactured items through predefined distribution channels.
Absolutely, yeah. And speaking as someone who has bought items on Facebook Marketplace, it's really interesting to see how social media is transforming the second-hand market for buyers. But why is it on the other side that people are turning towards C2C platforms to sell their own goods?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if there are buyers, it's because there are sellers behind. And the reasons of selling is also pretty much related to those practical reasons. So first of all, they are interested in spacing up their house for 64% of these people, because they do have lots of items that are in good state, but they rarely use for 58% of them. And then comes also a financial aspect to earn some extra money for 51% of them.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like clearing clutter from your home is a major attraction for that, which I fully agree with as well. It seems like selling on these platforms is becoming just as popular as buying. So how often is it that online shoppers are actually using C2C platforms?
Yeah, it's a quite interesting figure. In terms of frequency of purchase, those e-shoppers using C2C platforms purchase 12 times a year, a little more than 12 times actually, to be precise, 12.1 times a year. So if we divide this number by 12, they actually purchase secondhand goods more than once a month. And on average, these e-shoppers receive 5 parcels a month. So if you project that C2C shopping in it, one parcel out of five comes from secondhand shopping.
Wow, okay, so it's amazing how frequent C2C shopping has become.
Yeah.
What types of products is it that people tend to be buying most often on these platforms?
Probably a little less surprising for this one, but like the most popular categories among the C2C shoppers are first fashion and then shoes items.
Oh, absolutely, those categories definitely make sense. With C2C shopping growing so rapidly, how is innovation contributing towards the rise of these platforms?
I believe innovation was actually an essential driver for the growth of C2C platforms, because it managed to remove, the barriers and all the concerns that these e-shoppers had about C2C shopping, right? And when we talked about the definition of C2C shopping, I talked about this marketplace that should exist among these individuals. So there are intermediaries that connect buyers and sellers and streamline this exchange process. And their C2C platforms succeeded in giving a trusted platform by, for instance, reassuring the quality and the authenticity of the product, secure payment process, but also, fluid delivery process, which all in all enhanced the overall user experience that attracted people to come back to C2C platforms.
Absolutely, yeah. So it seems like trust, authenticity, security. These are all major attractions for these. And obviously innovation is a big part of that. Um, so we can see that innovation is making a big difference. But aside from the practical benefits, what role does sustainability play in the rise of secondhand shopping?
Yeah, at the beginning, when we talked about the motivators of purchase, the first one was financial side, but that's not the only reason that they are attracted to C2C shopping. Actually, supporting the circular economy for these e-shoppers is also an important motivator to shop secondhand items for actually 35% of the e-shoppers on our barometer.
Well, it's great to see that sustainability is becoming a stronger motivator. Speaking of trends, why do you think that Gen Z e-shoppers tend to be more heavy users of C2C platforms?
Yeah, yes, a special generation. So for Gen Z, actually, consumer behavior motivations for secondhand shopping go beyond financial savings or environmental concerns, because we're also seeing some trends such as the desire to towards this having this unique and vintage items that drives consumer behavior. They are actually quite drawn to secondhand shopping due to its trendy appeal. They find it trendy thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking as a millennial, I can still see from my point of view, it does seem very trendy at the moment. Do C2C e-shoppers tend to display any preferences in regards to their delivery?
Yeah, I think so. According to the barometer, the C2C shoppers use out-of-home delivery places quite a lot. So, for example, parcel shops or parcel lockers, and they use it more than the totally shoppers do, and then also increasingly more compared to the previous edition in 2022. And I believe it's a choice very much driven by the convenience that they have as a perception towards out-of-home delivery places, because they can send but also receive the parcels in one spot. And on top of that, they find it also affordable more than other options in regards to price.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see, convenience and affordability are major, attractions in regards to delivery. Looking ahead, how do you expect the C2C market to evolve in the coming years?
I believe the popularity will continue in the future. I think we can say that C2C shopping is becoming a common way of consuming for many European online shoppers, and it's going to make them continuously use the C2C platforms. And on top of that, there is the younger target who will continue to drive the dynamic of C2C trend. So if 72% of the total e-shoppers use the C2C platforms, when I say use, it means either buy or sell secondhand items. This usage rate goes up to 82% among 18 to 29 years old, which is 10% more. And so it basically means that most of this younger generation use C2C platforms. And these people are well, these people, yeah, this young generation are digital natives who are sensitive to the trends and actively on social media, and they're also sensitive to environmental concerns. Are already playing an important role in activating the C2C platforms.
Okay, thank you for that. And what factors do you think will help support the continued success of C2C shopping?
So yeah, so the continued growth of C2C secondhand shopping, I think presents like numerous opportunities for innovation and collaboration within the e-commerce industry. And it can go from having a new business models that bridge between buyers and sellers, but also partnerships with C2C platforms and brands who consider launching their own C2C secondhand offerings, right? So there's an immense potential for growth, and it is, I think, already happening.
Okay, do you have any examples of these brands?
Yeah, many examples actually, but just a few that I can think of. So for example, big brands like IKEA or Zara, they have already started their own secondhand offerings, so sell their own secondhand products on their side. But then there are many partnerships happening between brands and C2C platforms. So there is a French, there is a luxury fashion brand called Alexander McQueen that collaborated with Vestiaire Collectif. It's a C2C platform specializing in luxury goods. And Alexander McQueen offered a service of authentication for the platform users. Or there's also a French department store chain called BHV. that dedicated to some physical space in their department store for a another C2C platform called Selensi, who specializes in furniture or home decoration. And then another interesting that I found was Seb, a French brand in of kitchenware that collaborated with Back Market, offering the reparation services.
Well, it sounds like there's certainly a very bright future in store for C2C. Just a reminder to all of our viewers, anyone who's watching with us today, if you have any questions, just a reminder to let you know to please feel free to send these in the comments or DM us, and we'll pass those over onto Hannah later on to answer for you. In terms of engagement, Hannah, what proportion of aficionado e-shoppers, which are those who receive an average of 7 parcels a month, uh, what proportion of those are involved in buying or selling on second-hand platforms?
Yeah, just to add on the definition of aficionados, simply put, in our barometer, we call these people the heaviest e-shoppers in the e-commerce scene. So these people buy basically a lot of products, new products, but they also seem to be very interested in secondhand shopping. So we said earlier there are 72% of total e-shoppers who use C2C platforms, and this goes up to 79% among these aficionados. And among these 79% of aficionados, 28% of them just buy secondhand products, and then 35% of them buy and sell, and then the rest, 15% of them sell. And one thing probably that is interesting to that I noticed here is that the people who buy but at the same time sell secondhand products are increasing compared to 2022 because probably they started using C2C platforms by, first of all, purchasing a couple of items to test out, how it works. And then they tend to like it, and they kind of get back to this circularity of C2C platforms, and they also start to sell their pre-owned items.
Wow, that's some impressive engagement. So what are the main reasons, Hannah, that aficionado e-shoppers turn towards C2C platforms for their purchases?
I think the reasons are in general similar to what we mentioned, this interest in saving money and then also supporting the circular economy. But aficionados seem to have more diverse reasons that they have. So, for example, they also like to support small retailers, or they prefer simply purchasing directly from, private individuals, or like the Gen Z, they do find this activity quite a trendy thing to do.
Thank you so much, Hannah, for sharing your valuable insights on the evolving world of C2C e-shopping with us today. So we're going to turn to our viewers now, and see if we have any questions from any of our viewers. And Hannah, we're going to hand those over to you for your insights. So the first question we've got here, Hannah, is that you mentioned the younger generation is a key driver of C2C shopping. Do you think that older generations will start adopting this trend as well?
Right, yes. The younger generation is a key target, but there are also, older e-shoppers of 30 years old plus who also enjoy secondhand shopping. So, and when we think of this activity of secondhand shopping, it is actually an old mode of consumption, that has existed for a very long time, right? And C2C platform is just a, let's call it, a digitalized and more modernized version of it, facilitating the connection among the individuals. And from what I saw in our barometer, so France, I can take the example of France. It's one of the countries in Europe where C2C shopping is really popular, and I think this popularity actually bases on the country's strong traditional culture of flea market that moved onto the digital world today.
It's really fascinating to see, how traditional shopping methods have started to become, translated to online, and we're seeing that reflected in C2C shopping. What role do you think that AI will play in the future of C2C platforms?
Yeah, I think AI can help C2C shoppers like I'm thinking about it as a shopper. Like personally, I love to shop secondhand items, and probably AI can help C2C shoppers in searching for products or some information around it. So and as a shopper, because the fun but also sometimes a painful part of it is to look for the right product, right, that I am looking for, because each of the items are so unique, and I need to sometimes go and check several C2C platforms, and it sometimes take a long time. And it looks like from what I researched so far is that some initiative with AI technologies are already happening. And thinking of some examples, there's Poshmarket, a commerce, a social commerce marketplace that has a feature called Posh Lens, and it is a AI-powered image search tool, and it automatically, detects objects within a certain image, and they find visually similar products that look similar. Or there's a German startup called Fair Cadeau. It also uses a image matching algorithms to collect key details of products like product images, titles, and brands, offering users personalized resale suggestions. Or probably just another one, a UK-based a startup called Trust that uses algorithms to collect online data, and it automate the sale of secondhand shopping. So the startup collaborated with a C2C platform called Depop, or Selfridges, the department store chain. So they provide Depop sellers with some suggested pricing, automated, or product recommendations, or some enhanced customer service, so that the buyers, on the other hand, of the secondhand clothes can anticipate a bit more polished and then standardized product listings, and when they also search for some products, it is more relevant and accurate.
It's very interesting. Thank you, Hannah. And just to dial back to the previous question, what I think our viewer was saying is that if a person uses a C2C shopping platform and they're happy with the product they receive, they'll probably engage in some word of mouth activity, which will help sort of propagate the popularity of that platform, be it Etsy, Vinted, Facebook Marketplace, and so on. Which I think is just an interesting point to cover as well. Hannah, obviously, we appreciate your expertise and the really engaging discussion we've had today. It's been really insightful and really enjoyable. So thanks again for your time. And a huge thank you to all of our viewers who have joined us today. We hope you found this informative and inspiring. From all of us at Geopost, we're wishing you a great day, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event.
Thank you very much, Kurt. Thank you, everyone.